Okay, so I am doing a shallow dive because I can't swim. So let's start. Maybe I'm Jay. Most people know me by LCP, which that's my username in most places. And I work for SUSE in the uh, build solutions team, and I work with them to develop OBS frontend. So I come here specifically because I wanted to introduce you and maybe expand a bit your knowledge about the beta program and also the contributions to OBS that you can also do, not just us. So to talk a bit about OBS, OBS is essentially everything open-source distributions. So that's the central place where all of the development of OBS, of distributions happens. So packages, images, whatever happens, which means that we have quite a bit of responsibility to not break your workflow. Yes, so, and then beta program is a specific set of features we're currently working on, which essentially expand the capabilities of OBS or modify the capabilities of OBS in some way. It's mostly focused on features, but not always. And yeah, as you can see, we have quite a few toggles to be able to switch between the beta version and non-beta version, because we don't necessarily want to commit right away to a new way. We want you to be able to still do your work, even though the things we are currently working on are in the beta stages. So yeah, you can see quite a few toggles there. And we want to show you the things that actually happen in the beta program and also in development of OBS in general. So we do create quite a few blog posts, typically every second week. Sometimes it's a bit rarer. It kind of depends on our development cycle. But yeah, we do submit a lot of blog posts, and we want you to know about every single thing that happens in OBS so that you are aware of the new features, the things that are maybe changing, and so that you are informed throughout this process and so that you can give us feedback on the things that we actually worked on recently. So yeah, there are some recent things like dark mode that left the beta program, for example. And let's talk a bit about the past beta features. There were quite a few, and it all started back in 2018 with the Bootstrap migration. I don't know if you are aware, but before Bootstrap, we used to have this bento design, and it was very dated. It started in 2011, and so we needed some new base, something that's actually maintained. Bento wasn't maintained for quite a long time by this point, and a lot of the things that had to be done to OBS were very custom. So yeah, we moved on to a new design. That was also something you could disable, so we were working on this for a while. Then we had the new notifications. This is a much newer beta feature, which, yeah, this took a bit to figure out, but yeah, nowadays it is a much more capable feature than it used to be. User profiles, this is a very small redesign of things considered, but it was very useful for us to get away from just having multiple tables of contents to one single table to display everything about the users. A CMCI workflow, I hope you are aware of the fact that you are able to set up a workflow on, for example, GitHub or any other GitForge to create package builds to verify that everything in OBS works. And that's used to also be one of the beta features we worked on. all of those are complete already. So yeah, this is also something that we still work on from time to time, but in our opinion, it's not really beta worthy anymore. It's a graduated feature that you can use right now. Then there was the new watch list. Watch list in the past used to only allow you to follow specific things. There used to be just the packages, fairly sure, and then that expanded to being more things. So we have the requests, packages, projects, whatever. And that lets you to access everything quite easily. Then we had the dark mode. That's very recent. So you can see, yeah, this is something that was allowed to us via an update to Bootstrap. We got contribution from Moses to get this started, and then Eduardo and others finished this recently. So now dark mode is native, and you can switch it on or off in the user profile. So we also have things that are in progress, of course, and those are the features that are currently visible in the beta switch. So you can find, for example, request show. There's quite an extensive feature. We are essentially redoing the entire request workflow. And so, yeah, you can see that we have expanded what you can see by default, and it also looks very much closer to what most people will be familiar with in terms of UI that helps you accomplish the requests. Hopefully it's better than it used to be, and we are still working on it, so feel free to tell me that this is terrible, because I will take it. That's to be expected. There are terrible things about it. And there is request index. So all the pages where the requests were listed were very limited in scope. We added a lot more filters, a lot more display of the what the requests actually what the requests actually are. So there is a lot more information about every single request that you want to preview in the list of requests. And then canned responses. This is fairly simple of a feature. It just allows you to quickly create a comment based on some template that you already had created before. This is not just for comments, but also for other types of. I think we only have this implemented for decisions for moderators. So for most people, it's not really visible, but that exists. Yeah. We have foster collaborations. So recently, we worked on assignments. We worked on outside report backlinks, and we have also markdown descriptions, which is, I hear, very popular request. So yeah, we are expanding the collaboration between people so that it's easier. There is content moderation, which some of you might have seen the ability to report stuff to moderators. We do have moderators that actually look at this stuff. So if you find any spam, if you find anything illegal in the OBS, which happens because of the licensing very often, so yeah, somebody takes a look at that and hopefully does something about it. Yeah, so I did forget labels entirely, but we also have labels. I don't know why I lost that. I think I just, yeah, I don't know. So contributing. Something that might be not really obvious, we have contributing guidelines. Those guidelines aren't entirely for code. They are also for documentation, for feedback, for anything else. We have bug reports as well that we take. And yeah, I mentioned here that this might be outdated. You know, things change. So yeah, let's start with giving us feedback because it's very important. We want to know what you think about the things we are working on. The things that we are working on, of course, they are in motion. They will change in some ways still. And so it's nice to know if there is any degraded performance, degraded features, whatever happens to you. We want to be aware of that and make sure that whatever needs you might have are actually covered by us. We have specific information about it, and we can do something about it. If not right away, we can think about it for the future of the feature. Of course, we have had a history of breaking things, but we try not to. We try to fix things that are outside of beta right away, and in beta the things might be broken for a little bit longer because it's still in development. But yeah, it's still something that we don't want to affect your workflow. And for code, of course, we have different set of guidelines. We do hope for more people to actually contribute. The contribution from Moises was very helpful in terms of getting dark mode going, and we hope that other people actually take part in the process so that we can get things in OBS faster with ideas from people outside of maybe the company, the community, because I know that there are some workflows that people actually developed outside of OBS that maybe would fit better inside of OBS in some way. So that's always a discussion that we would like to have. And yeah, the first guideline to how to contribute to the code, we say don't ask, do, which is if there is something small that is a small feature, small bug fix, we love getting fixes right away. If something bothers you, that's a way I started with OBS, development. I fixed small bugs because they bothered me in OBS. And yeah, we have a lot of issues, things that are in issues already vetted to some extent. We want them fixed. We might not have the time, so we are just looking for more people to help us. Yeah, and we do actually respond to questions in IRC, in Matrix, on the mailing list. If you find any thing that is actually that you would like to know that you might not be able to figure out yourself, because it gets us closer to actually fixing things if you know how to do that. And then there is the second rule, which is don't do ask, which is if there is something big that you want to work on, we would like to know about it so that we can collaborate on this better. The bigger things are going to involve a lot more code. They're going to involve a lot more collaboration to actually get everything reviewed. We do prefer working in smaller pull requests to get the beginnings of the feature done first before we continue on to next progress of the feature, so that we have an easier time to review this, and also we get to test the smaller pieces of code first before committing to the entire thing right away. And yeah, there are some features of the big variety where we'll want to also pull them into the beta program before we continue to actually, we don't want to subject people to necessarily the new features right away because they might need some work still. And so, yeah, we do use beta program for that. So it's very helpful to also get contributions that consider that fact. Oh yeah, so yeah, this is just where we are. We are on IRC, we are on Matrix, and we are on the mailing lists, also on GitHub, which I didn't mention for some reason. But yeah, we are usually there on the weekdays in the working hours for the people that actually work with my team and also with other teams that deal with OBS. And so, yeah, we are there in those times, but yeah, in case of mailing lists, you can send it at any time and we'll probably respond whenever we are able to. Yeah, and that is it. So if you have any questions, I would love to take them.
Thanks. Hi, I'm Andreas. Thanks for the talk. My favorite paper cut fix that he had was watching requests. That's awesome. I use this quite a bit. I had a question about, you may be aware of the move to Git for packages. Do you have any plans to make this more visible in OBS, like this tighter integration, just to address this media break that I would expect if this completes?
This was the first question I expected. And I can tell you right now that there's no current plans. We aren't really in close conversations with people that actually do the Git migration because they aren't really touching anything in the front end for us. So we don't really have the ability to make this smoother very easily. And yeah, without any collaboration, we just cannot really touch this. It would be nice for sure. I think like our goal here is to make workflows easier, and this is a workflow that is, in a way, very has a lot of paper cuts right now, and so yeah, for us it would be nice, but you know it depends on quite a few parties, and so it's not that simple to actually involve everyone and start working on this.
My expectation is that the Git will has to establish itself, and then we maybe look how we can make a closer integration based on something that works. And then, yeah, I expect this to end up in the beta program, maybe if we have the time.
Yeah. The thing that I'm noticing is that since the SCM sync itself is not really tied to a singular forge, technically, there is, for us, it's very difficult to work with it because there is no single API we can use. we end up with quite a bit of possibilities there because we don't know what other customers will use beyond Git. Like for SUSE, for openSUSE, it is Git, but we don't know what it's going to be otherwise, so it makes it difficult to actually integrate anything directly.
Thank you.
Yes, hi. Great presentation. A question about the feedback page. If you have any questions, if you have any feedback for a feature, like a beta feature, where would one go to give that?
Oh, there.
Okay.
There. Also GitHub, but I didn't list it for some reason. But yeah, GitHub also, github.com/openSUSE/openbuildservice. Open-build-service.
Yes, thank you.
I have one question.
Okay.
What's the ratio of contributions from within your team versus anyone outside your team, be it SUSE, other SUSE employees or openSUSE community or some drive-by contributor?
It is going to be close to 8-2 or 9-1. So it is very, the amount of contributions that we get is low from outside contributors, and we would like to improve that situation because it does actually help us to figure out what you need, because if people are actually working on the features themselves, they are going to shape them according to their view of what they need. And yeah.
Okay, but 10 to 20% is still something that's actually comparable to what we see in OpenQA as well. So the majority is done by SUSE team, but still there's feedback from others, so it is being used by others, and they do care to contribute, so that's good.
Yeah, it is good. And people, we want to see more. That's the point, right?
Yeah, not really a question, just a comment. The problem is also because things like the Git workflow are moved to other platforms. I feel like for some contributors it is there's not so much incentive to like contribute to OBS and to improve the front end in OBS, because they feel like their contribution might be like just worthless in some time. So.
Yeah, so I would also say that keep in mind that front-end is not just the front-end you see, it's also the API. So I do believe that there are quite a few people that do use the API. If there is anything in the API that makes it easier for you to accomplish your work, then we also want to hear about it.
Yeah, thanks for the talk. I'm a full-stack web developer myself. Can you say something about the stack, or whether like back-end contributions are off the table or something like that?
No. The stack is, yeah, I had a few slides about the stack, but I just removed them because I felt that's going to be going into the weeds, and this is a shallow dive. Mm-hmm. I can't swim. So yeah, the stack for us is on the front-end side, it's Ruby on Rails, and that's the entire application that runs on top, and then you have a backend, which is Perl, and those two communicate with each other with HTTP requests. So, yeah.
I might look into it because I'm a 14-year Ruby on Rails developer.
Yeah, it is a very the code base is old, and you can see that, but it's also like getting better for sure. Okay, I guess there are no more questions, then we are done.